It was 1907 in a rural area outside of Ottawa, Canada. Snow was lightly falling on this very cold Christmas Eve as Victor and his mother trudged through the snow. He was pulling a small sled as they walked the mile and a half to the general store. Snow crunched beneath their feet as they walked, and the wind whistled through the trees as Victor's mother pulled a hand-knitted scarf up over his mouth and nose. This would be a difficult Christmas. It had been a difficult year for the family, and money for trees and presents was almost non-existent. It was dark as they walked, with only the moon and the stars to light their way. As they entered the general store, they were warmed by the heat of the pot-bellied stove in the middle of the room, and the storekeeper greeted them gruffly. Victor's mother quietly explained that they needed to buy a Christmas tree. The storekeeper said, "I've got two, 25 cents each." Well, neither of the trees was very good. In fact, they were really bad. Empty spots where branches should have been. There wasn't much choice, however, and Victor's mother told the owner that she could only pay him 10 cents for one of the trees. 25 cents each, he repeated. She asked if she could just pay 10 cents now and put the rest on her bill. "I can't give you any more credit," the storekeeper grumbled. It's Christmas. We really need this tree," she said. The reply came back loud and quick. "No!" As Victor and his mother left the store and began walking again, she heard him crying softly. "Don't worry, Victor. There's another store about a mile up the road, and we can get our Christmas tree there." It was colder now, and they hurried on to the only other store in the area. When they entered the store, the shopkeeper told them that he was sorry, but that he had no more Christmas trees. As they headed back home, Victor was crushed. No tree for Christmas. Again, he started crying, louder than before. His mother put her arm around him and said, "Don't worry, Victor. We'll go back to the first store and we'll get a tree there. I'll talk to the owner, and I'm sure he'll let us buy one of those trees." Somewhat consoled, Victor slowly stopped crying. Getting colder, it was snowing harder, and the sled was getting more difficult to pull. They walked for a while and finally topped a hill where they could look down on the store. As they stared at the store, all hope seemed to rush from Victor's body. There were no lights on at all. It was closed. There was no place else. Victor's tears came in a flood this time. A Christmas without even a tree. Reminding Victor that the shopkeeper lived behind the store. Only had 10 cents, he sobbed. "Don't worry, Victor. Somehow we will get a tree." No answer came as she knocked on the door. She knocked again, harder, louder. Still, no answer. As they walked past the rear of the store on their way home, they beheld a glorious sight. For there in the trash were the two trees that they had seen in the store. When the owner had closed the store for the evening, with nobody having bought the trees, he threw them out in back of the store. Victor excitedly loaded the trees on the sled, and they headed for home. When Victor grew older, he recalled that when they got home that evening, they tied those two rather bedraggled Christmas trees together, which made the best-looking Christmas tree that he had ever seen. My father, Victor, was that little boy. This story every Christmas that I can remember, just as I told it to my children. Merry Christmas.